नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधागोविन्द गोस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते प्रभुपाद्यदेवं गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी ग्राम्यजननिस्तारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वंशाकल्पतरोभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। सर्वशास्त्राब्धिपीयूष सर्ववेदैकसत्फल सर्वसिद्धान्तरत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैकदृक्प्रदः सर्वभागवतप्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभु कलिध्वान्तोदितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तिता परमानन्दपाठाय प्रेमवर्षाक्षरायते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमस्ते। मदेकबन्धुमत्सङ्गीन् मद्गुरो मन्महाधन मन्निस्तारकमद्भाग्यो मदानन्दनमस्तुते। असाधु साधुता दायिन् अतीनीच चतारक हानमञ्च कदाचिन्मा प्रेम्णारिकण्ठय स्फुरा। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we are in the beginning of the first canto, and last class we are discussing from the Mangalacharan of Srila Vyasadeva. In the first verse we have seen Vyasadeva establishes Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, as the absolute truth, object of his meditation. He is not meditating on any powerful living entities in this world. Neither is he meditating on Brahma, but he is meditating on Satyam Param Dhimahi, in the supreme absolute truth. So, having said that, in the next verse, he spoke about the greatness of Srimad Bhagavatam, that it is the topmost literature. It is superior to the Karma Kanda and Jnana Kanda divisions of the Veda, and this literature is also great in terms of who has compiled this literature, Mahamuni. So in that way, he wanted to create interest in the readers to this literature. Therefore, having established the same, in the next verse, in text 3 of his Mangalachan prayer, it is said, Idanim tu no kevalam sarvasastrebhya sreshtatvat asya sravanam vidhiyate. It is not that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the superior literature to other literature, other Vedic literature. Therefore, one must hear this. No, there is something more about it. We must know why we should commit ourselves to the study of such a vast literature. So he's saying, Apitu Sarva Shastra Prarupam Midam Atah Param Adarana Sabhyam. This is the cream of all Vedic literature. Sarva Shastra Prarupamidam. That means whatever result one can derive by taking shelter of other Vedic literatures, Srimad Bhagavatam can give all those results. Even what other literature cannot give, Srimad Bhagavatam can award that. Therefore, Param Adarena Sabhyam. Therefore, this must be studied with great uh, care and love, attention. So then he says, निगम इति निगमाकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं सुखमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसम् आलयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुका. So here Vyasadeva is inviting the expert devotees, thoughtful devotees, to take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, and they can relish Srimad Bhagavatam. So how they can relish Srimad Bhagavatam is described by Srila Vyasadeva. So okay, so I think we have covered this. So now we will start from the third verse, right? Yes, this is the one. Nigama kalpatarur galitam phalam sukamukhadam ritadrava sanjutam pivata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuruhu rasika bhuvibhavuka. So this Srimad Bhagavatam, what is Bhagavatam? Nigamaha kalpatarur galitam phalam. This is the fruit of the desire tree, wish fulfilling tree. Nigama, Veda. Huh?
Full screen pictures, not showing the full screen.
Not showing the full screen?
Maybe I should click this one.
This one? I don't know. How it is showing? Huh? No. How you are able to see? Let me see. So it's coming like that, huh? I don't know why. You know how to do it? Download is not there. Extension is slide. No, I don't know why it is coming like this.
Screen.
Huh?
Screen.
Screen? I don't know why it is showing like this. Here it is showing clear. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I can try again. So coming same. Display setting, yeah, something has to be done with display setting. Anyway, my dear devotee, huh? Let me see. Oh, it's coming now. Anyway, Hare Krishna. Sorry, there was some technical error. So Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam. Nigama Veda. Nigama means Ved, Vedic literature. Okay. So eva Kalpataru. This Veda, Vedic literatures have been described, I mean to say Veda, have been described as wish fulfilling tree. Sarva Purusartha Upayatvat Tasya Phalam Bhagavatam Nama Tattu Vaikuntagatam Naratena Nya Maiham Dattam. So this Srimad Bhagavatam is the fruit of the wish fulfilling tree that exists in Vaikuntha, and it has been given to me by Narad. So here it is said the Rasika Bhubi Bhavuka. This the devotees who relish the rasa, for them this fruit of the wish fulfilling tree is available in this earth planet, in the world. And it is explained that how it has come by parampara. Uh, we know in the beginning, the Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Lord Narayana to Brahma, and Brahma gave it to Narada. Narada gave it to Vyasadev. Then Vyasadev gave it to his son Sukadeva Goswami. Then from Sukadeva Goswami, through the chain of disciplic succession, it came to the branch called Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And then Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave it to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And now Prabhupada has given to his disciples, and his disciples have given to their disciples. So this is how this is available with us. But in any way, this Srimad Bhagavatam, which has been received through the disciplic succession, Prabhupada has received this, and he has given the Bhaktivedanta purports, which is the perfect enlightenment for the conditioned souls of the age of Kali. Therefore, we are trying to take shelter of the Bhaktivedanta purports to understand how this Srimad Bhagavatam can give the highest benefit to the readers. So this Srimad Bhagavatam have been coming from the Vaikuntha planet. That means if you consider this Vaikuntha planet as the like a huge tree, from such a high position, if the fruit drops to the ground, then what will happen? First of all, it is Galitam Phalam. It's a ripened fruit. So if the fruit is fully ripened, and if it drops down, when it drops down, then it will be mixed with the sand particles or dirt. You will not be able to enjoy it. Therefore, it has come through the chain of disciplic succession. There is no contamination, and it is coming hand to hand. And it is said that Sukha Mukhat Amrita Drava Samjutam. Galitam Phalam Sukha Mukhat Amritam Drava Samjutam. It is said that the fruit which is touched by the beak of a parrot, it is very sweet. It's not that after Sukha bird, the parrot touches it, it becomes sweeter. No, uh, the reality is the Shuka, the parrot, understands the sweetness of the fruit. Therefore, it touches the beak, and so it is coming. Again, anyway, in either case, you can say it is definitely sweet fruit. That's why Suko has touched its beak. And in another explanation, because it is touched by the beak of the Suko bird, it has become even more sweeter. That's how you can see, for example, there are so many commentators who have commented on the same Srimad Bhagavatam. But recent commentator is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. If you see the present readers, we actually relish more in studying Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Why? He is giving it in a very simplified form with a detailed explanation, and the Tattva and Leela pastimes of the Supreme Lord is presented even in more sweeter way, in sweeter way. So in that way, uh, as it is coming down, like for example, now we have received this from Prabhupada, and the way Prabhupada has presented it, it is being released by all class of men in this world. Not only ISKCON devotees are reading Bhaktivedanta purports, rather we can see in today's world, there are so many outsiders who also read Prabhupada's purports. So in that way, it appears more sweet because it is touched by the representative of Shukadev. It is becoming sweeter and sweeter. And it is a Pivata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. So the question can be asked, if one starts drinking the nectar from Srimad Bhagavatam, how long should he continue? Is it so that like people who are searching for the happiness in the heavenly planet, once they attain moksha, they give up that rasa of Svarga, the relish of Svarga, Svarga Sukha is already given up at the time of liberation. Is it so that those who take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, uh, they will one day give up? No, this is an alayam, moksha parjantam. Even after liberation, one can still continue to release this Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is Rasam Alayam. And this is the storehouse of rasa. Muhuruhu rasika bhujibhavuka. Those who are expert and thoughtful devotees, they must relish Srimad Bhagavatam. And one thing have been pointed out here by Srila Vyasadeva is that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of the Vedic literature, and it has been simultaneously described as fruit and rasa. So how can it be, if it's a fruit, how can you drink it? Pivata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam, right? It is said Bhagavata is rasa, but at the same time it's saying Nigama Kalpataru Galitam Phalam. So the explanation is there is juice in the fruit. You can extract the juice and you can drink, right? That means once you extract the juice from the fruit, then there are some I can say the skin, the pulp, and the seed. You have to reject it. after extracting the rasa. Is it so that Bhagavatam is like that? There is something you have to reject after extracting the rasa? No, that's why it is said, this is rasa malayam. This fruit is available in form of rasa. Means there is nothing you can reject. This is the beauty of Srimad Bhagavatam. That Srimad Bhagavatam is a complete literature by taking shelter of which you don't have to ignore anything while studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Everything you can take it for your Krishna conscious practice. There is nothing to reject. That's why it is said, Rasamalayam Muhuruhu Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. Srila Prabhupada, he describes Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of all the Vedic literatures. In other words, it is the cream of all Vedic knowledge. And Sukha Mukhad Amrita Drava Samvitam. The Vedic fruit, which is mature and ripe in knowledge, is spoken through the lips of Srila Sukadeva Goswami, who is compared to the parrot not for his ability to recite the Bhagavatam exactly as he heard it from his learned father, but for his ability to present the work in a manner that would appeal to all classes of men. Srimad Bhagavatam is so carefully presented that a sincere and serious person can at once enjoy the ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge simply by drinking the nectarian juice through the mouth of Sukadeva Goswami or his bona fide representative. So that means we have to find a bona fide representative of Srila Sukadeva Goswami and then try to drink the nectar. It is enjoyed even after liberation. So therefore, Pivatam Bhagavatam Rasamalayam, we have to take this message from the right source. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport. This is the highest rasa. This is the mellow, after releasing which we can be perfectly satisfied. The people who are taking shelter of the Vedic literature to get their four goals like dharma, artha, kama, moksha satisfied, everything can be automatically achieved just by study of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is the beauty. In Krishna Lila's talk, Sanatana Goswami writes, I bow down to you who are supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone, your Sri Krishna himself. So in that way, this Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from Krishna, and everybody should take shelter of Krishna in form of Srimad Bhagavatam, and they will be floating in ecstatic love of Godhead. So now Srila Vyasadeva, he begins this Bhagavatam. So before we begin, one thing I want to bring to your attention that, see, right now, Srila Vyasadeva is writing Mangalacharana prayer, right? That means Sukadeva is not there. And nothing has happened actually. Everything going to happen in the future. The whole story how Sukadeva Goswami will get it from Vyasadeva, and then Sukadeva Goswami will give to Maharaj Parikshit. Then, so all these things going to happen afterwards. But how come it is written like this now? That Sukadeva Goswami is giving the fruit, which is very nectarian. Why it is written like this? So Sridhar Swami is commenting on this in this connection that Etacha bhavishyat api bhutavar nirdishtam. Even though the whole episode is going to happen in the future, still it is written as if it is already past. In past form, it have been compiled. Why? Anagata khyane naivasya shastrasya pravritte. This Srimad Bhagavatam is written in the future context. That is going to happen in future, but because Vyasadeva is Rishi, he is Trikalagnya, he knows past, present and future. He is able to see what is going to come in future. Therefore, he is writing as if everything have been accomplished. So that's why it is said that anagata khyanaivasya shastrasya pravritte. Atah eva amrita rupena dravena samjutam. Therefore, it is like the nectar, amrita drava, and we can drink it. Okay, it is coming from his realization. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam should be studied and released, then we can serve it to others like an amrita drava, like a nectarian drink, and then the devotees can relish it. So he begins, Naimishe Namishe Kshetre, Naimishe Nimisha Kshetre Rishaya Saunakadaya, Satram Swargaya Lokaya Sahasra Samamasata, Naimishe Namisha Kshetre, Animisha Kshetra. Naimisharanya have been defined as Animesh Kshetra. One of the name of Lord Vishnu is called Animesh, who does not blink his eyes. Just imagine if Lord Vishnu or Krishna, if he closes his eyes, even just for a fraction of a second, everything will be destroyed. So that's why he always keeps his eyes open. He is so merciful. He is glancing upon all of us. So that's why he is called Animisha. So, and in this forest, Naimisharanya, all these rishis, they have assembled. Why? They want to perform a sacrifice, which is 1,000 years prolonged sacrifice. So why? Because they wanted to eradicate the ill effect of this age of Kali. And actually, they are performing this sacrifice because they want to go to the abode of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, they all have been assembled in this Naimisharanya Kshetra, which is called also Vaishnava Kshetra. And the history of this place is Naimisharanya being described by Srila Prabhupada by taking two references that in the beginning, when the rishis, they wanted to find a place which is free from the influence of the age of Kali, they went to Lord Brahma. And then Brahma said, well, there is no place which is free from the effect of the Kali, but I am going to release one disc, one chakra, wheel, and that wheel will keep flying in the sky, and it will go to a place where it is fixed with its how. That place will remain free from the influence of Kali, and you can perform your austerity there. So having said that, Lord Brahma, he released the wheel. Then the rishis, they went behind the wheel and they found the hub of the wheel got fixed in the forest known as Naimisharanya, and that is the place became Nami, because the Nemi, the Sanskrit name of the hub of the wheel is called Nemi. Therefore, the Nemi was fixed in the forest. Therefore, the name of the forest became Naimisharanya. And the another pastime have been cited by Srila Prabhupada by referring to the Varaha Puran, where Lord speaks to Gauramukha Rishi. One time, Lord said that in this place I have killed the army of the demons in a fraction of a second. Therefore, this Kshetra is called also Naimisharanya. The strength of demoniac people is curtailed. Thus, Brahmanas prefer Naimisharanya for such sacrificial performances. So, because this place is freed from the demoniac effects, there is no influence of the Kali. Therefore, the sages assemble there to perform the sacrifice. And what was happening? Not that they were just sitting there and chanting mantra swaha, swaha, pouring ghee into the fire. Of course, it was going on, but at the same time, they were very much eager to hear about the pastime of the Supreme Lord from Shruta. And initially, they were hearing from Romaharshana Sutta, and upon hearing different descriptions from the Puranas, now their heart have been purified, and in one fine morning, they wanted to ask the question to the son of Romaharshana Sutta, which is Sutta Goswami, current Sutta, from whom we are listening Srimad Bhagavatam. So, त एकदा तु मुनयः प्रातर्भूतहुताग्नयः सत्कृतः सूतमासीन प्रत्यक्षमिदमादरात्. So one morning, one day, after finishing their morning duties, means they used to perform their daily rituals, chanting of mantras, doing homa, Gayatri, chanting Gayatri, everything they have completed. And now at that time, the Sutta Goswami he arrives, who is the Purana Bhakta, who speaks every day to them. So they inquire from him, idam adarat, with great respect. So this is a very interesting point we need to take a note on, that inquiry has to be made with perfect submission. Srila Prabhupada writes, those who listen to the Bhagavatam may put questions to the speaker in order to elicit the clear meaning. But this should not be done in a challenging spirit. One must submit questions with a great regard for the speaker and the subject matter. So therefore, the sages in Naimisharanya, they are asking questions to Sutta Goswami with great respect. And this is the standard system we all must follow. This is the recommendation given by Srila Prabhupada. So, Rishaya Uchu. Tvaya Khalu 6, text number 6. Rishaya Uchuhu. Tvaya Khalu Puranani Setihasani Chanagha. Akhyatanyapyadhitani Dharma Shastrani Chanyuta. Tvaya Khalu Puranani Setihasani Chanagha. Anagha. O sinless one, you have studied all the Puranas, histories, and Akhyatanya Paditani. Not only you have studied, rather you have also explained it. Means from this explanation we can understand those who study any Vedic literature, the perfection of the knowledge can be attained by the student when they start preaching, Akhyatani, explain it to others. Therefore, Prabhupada used to say that whatever you hear, you must talk to others, you must talk about Krishna according to your realization. That's very important. And then what happens? The knowledge becomes realized in the sadhaka. So in that way, here starting with this verse 6, 7, and 8, these three verses, we are discussing about the qualities of the Vyasa. And we have listed it down in the slide. I just wanted to project it. So in the text number 5, it is said, the representative of Vyasadeva, should be restrained in his senses. Means he must be a controlled person. He should not be disturbed by the sensual demands. Then sticks to the path made by the previous acharyas. We are not meant to create our own path, because that means, for example, Prabhupada has given this Srimad Bhagavatam explanation based on the a commentary of Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, or Srimad Bhagavad Gita have been given by Srila Prabhupada following the commentary of Baladev Vidyabhushan. So this is the parampara, Acharya parampara system Prabhupada has followed. He has not spoken something new. He has not created a new philosophy. He is just following the parampara. Similarly, nobody should try to concoct the philosophy on their own. For example, Srila Prabhupada, whatever he has given in this Bhagavatam Mahapuranam, it is all authentic. If one day, maybe you can say 10 generations down the line from today, if one feels, oh, now the time is changed, Kali Yuga has become so aggressive, Prabhupada gave the purport, 50, 100 years before, somebody may say, or 200 years before, now the situation is different. I am going to become the next Acharya and I am going to give a commentary befitting to the current situation. It's not required. You don't have to do that. You just follow the previous Acharya. Otherwise, what will happen? There will be many ISKCON, there will be many centers, many, so-called philosophy will pop up, a lot of deviation will happen. No, therefore it is said that stick to the path made by the previous Acharyas. You may not have the capacity to understand what Prabhupada is speaking, then it is your duty to talk to the devotees who have studied from their spiritual master, like this, coming from Prabhupada to their his spiritual sons, then they are giving to their spiritual sons, like this in disciplic succession, it is coming down. If somebody down the line is not able to understand on his own, then he should receive this knowledge from the previous authority who has received from his guru. So this is how this knowledge should be transmitted. And this is a very important quality of the Vyasadeva. Not that you are sitting in the Vyasasana, you are authorized to speak whatever you want to speak. No. That does not deliver lectures on the Bhagavatam capriciously. Yes, it is covered. So then, in 6, Tayaklo Puranani Setihasani Chanaka, freed from all vices, spotless in character. If we are not having a clean character, we will not be able to speak Bhagavatam properly. It's a very important thing. Because Bhagavatam is Krishna himself. When our heart is clean and pure, free from vices, then only Krishna will become manifest in such a pure heart. Well versed in all scriptures. If you don't know the Siddhanta, how can you present? Or you may say, well, I do not know all the conclusions of the scriptures. I'm not so well versed. Should I not speak? No, Prabhupada has said, you can speak according to your realization. And if we don't know something, then we should not falsely claim that I know everything and start concocting, or I think it is like that. No, we should not make any assumption to draw a conclusion on the statements of the Vedic literatures. So he should have heard it and then he should explain it. Then 7 says, Jani Veda Vidam Sheshta Bhagavan Badarayana Annecha Munaya Suta Paravara Vido Vidu. So he should be conversant in all systems of philosophy and obtain the submissive, obedient and submissive to the bona fide spiritual master. See, this is a very important quality being described here in text number 8. Vyathatvam Saumyatat Sarvam Tattvatas Tat Anugrahat. Bruyu snigdhasya shishyasya gurava guhyamapyuta. You see, sometimes we ask this question, Prabhu, I have no knowledge, I don't know how to explain the secrets of Vedic literature. So, how to give a class? So, therefore, we should understand this verse very clearly. The rishis are saying, Vyathatvam somya tat sarva. O Shruta, you know all the conclusions. You are well versed in the Vedic conclusions. Why they are saying this? Tatvata tat anugrahat. You have complete tattva jnana. So tattvata jnana hetu. So what is the cause behind getting knowledge in totality? Tatvata. With all the conclusions, the corollaries of Vedas is revealed to the sadhaka. What is the way? And bhuyu snigdhasya sishyasya gurava guhyamapyuta. Snigdhasya sishyasya, one who is submissive. A disciple should be submissive to his spiritual master. And when he is pure, simple, and submissive to his guru, then Bruyu. Guru is going to reveal the secret of Vedic literature. That means when Guru is pleased with your submission, your purity, your simplicity, he will bless you, then you can understand the conclusions of the Shastra. So now, Prabhupada is speaking, unless you fully assimilate, understand, you cannot describe it. So two things. Simple reading will not help us. When we shall be able to preach, the reading matter does not matter whether in the same language or in my own language. It does not matter. That is wanted. Akshatani, adhitani. Adhitani means you have read and you have explained. Means you must be engaged in preaching. Now, the first question asked by the sages in text number 9, Tatra tatranjasayushman bhavata jadvinishritam pumsam ekantatah sreyastanna samshitumarhashi. Pumsam ekantatasya. What is the ultimate and absolute good for all people? Please tell us. Why they are asking him? Tatra tatranjasa yushman bhavata jad binichitam. Because you have read all the Puranas, all histories, so we don't want to go through everything. After studying all this literature, what you have ascertained as the Shreya. Shreya means the good, the best thing. There are two things. You see, Shreya sadhana. What is Shreya sadhana for us? What we should do? What we should follow? Just tell us the cream, the essence. Explain us the absolute and ultimate good. So there are two kinds of, one is Shreya, another one is called Preya. Normally, people in this world are searching after Preya. Preya means immediate good. Like we try to get enjoyment or happiness through our family relationship, I mean to say, through our children, through our husband or wife or father, whatever, our house, our car, our material assets. But these are all temporary. Why? Parinama tapa nivahatvat. This is a very nice statement from the Shruti. This prayer, the immediate good, is meant to ultimately give you afflictions, tapa. Just like today, somebody gets married, and then he's thinking, now I'm going to have a son. He gives birth to a son. Then he takes care of the baby nicely. Baby grows up. Then when he gets married, he finds a job in another place, And then slowly he starts avoiding his father. This is an example that parinama tapa nibhatpat. So this old man now thinking, oh, this is how I gave you birth. I educated you and I put you into such a prestigious school and colleges. You got a nice degree and you have got a nice, job. You are placed in such a prestigious position, and now you don't even bother about me. Hey, he is, facing a lot of tension, lot of anxiety, dissatisfaction, sorrow. Why? Because you are thinking it is going to give me satisfaction. Because guna vritti virudhat. There is constant competition going on between sattva, raja and tamaguna here. Even within us also, when we are in the mood of goodness, we kind of feel happy. When in the mood of passion and ignorance, oh, you feel so much dejected from within also, from your own body. Guna vritti, virodh. There is always constant competition going on. There is some hindrances, virodh, have been put forward to us. So in that way, the prayer vastu cannot give us satisfaction. And the rishis, they know. Therefore, they have attained vairagya from the prayer. That's why they are saying, Pumsam ekantata shreyas tanna samsitum. Please explain to us what is the absolute and ultimate good. Huh? Oh, why are you asking me? Why don't you go and ask some other people and they will be able to tell you? So the sages, they are saying, प्रायणाल्पायुषः सभ्य कलावस्मिन् युगे जनः मंदः सुमन्दमतयो मंदभग्यायुपद्रुता. This is the position of the living entities in this age of Kali. This verse have been very nicely explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. I would just read out the commentary for you. Nanu mat mukhat tat sarvam sutva युष्मादय एव श्रेय निश्चित बंतु tatra. If Sutta Goswami says, okay, I have been speaking this Purana to all of you, and whatever you know the best, you can ascertain yourself. Why are you asking me? They are saying, hey, Sabhya Desa Kala Patragya. You know the time, place, and circumstance better than us. Asmin kalau prayena jana alpayusha eva. In this age of Kali, mostly people are short-lived. Yadi kathanchit dirghayusha tarhi manda. Even though sometimes we find some people who live for a long time, you can ask this question, we still find there are people who live a long duration of life in this age of Kali, but they are responding manda. Manda means paramartheshu alasa. Means they don't take interest in spiritual topic, in spiritual subject matter. This is a fact. We can see in today's world, not many people are taking interest in studying Srimad Bhagavatam. Not many people are taking shelter of spiritual consciousness. Jadi kechid niralasaha api tarhi mandabuddhaya. If there are some people who are not lazy, but still they are having ill intelligence. Jadi subuddhayo api, some of them may have good intelligence, still tada mandabhagya. Still they are having ill fortune. Tadrisa sadhu sangha hina. That means who is having a bad fortune? One who does not get the association of a pure sadhu. You can see in this age of Kali, there are so many people who are falsely claiming as the spiritual preceptors. They are trying to give guidance. When these people, they are cheaters. There are so many cheaters in the guise of the sadhu attempting to guide the people in spiritual life, and at the end they find they are being cheated by their guru. So therefore it is said that kind of sadhu who can give proper guidance are very, very rare. Jadi labdha susanga api. You may say, well, still you can find there are some good sadhus available. Huh? Okay, but they are saying even though there are some good sadhus available, tada upadrutaha. रोगादि उपद्रववशात् तन्मुखात् संशुं श्रुत्वा वा स्वस्य निश्चित्य तत्तत् अनुष्ठातुं न अवकाशं लभन्त इति. Even though we come across a pure sadhu and we hear a set of good instructions from him, but because we are always attacked by the different diseases, the disease may be coming in form of the attack to our material body or to our consciousness or to our mind. And because we are always afflicted by different disease to different degree, therefore, even after hearing from them, what is actually good, what is beneficial for me, there is no scope to ascertain. This is the kind of position of the entities in this age of Kali. Jadva alpayusas tatrapi mandaha. Somebody may say, well, even if we have little, life, still we can achieve something, no? On our own? No. Mandaha paramartheshu alasaha. So therefore, it is said that you should go to a devotee of the Lord who has studied Srimad Bhagavatam through the Guru Parampara, and we must listen to him. Prabhupada is speaking in the purport. Our indulgence, these are all already explained. So, Prabhupada is speaking in the purport. Okay. I'll just read it out. Overeating, over sense gratification, over dependence on another's mercy, and artificial standards of life shape the very vitality of human energy. Therefore, the duration of life is shortened. People are misguided in this world. Okay. So then they're asking the next question in text number, next question, 11. Bhurini bhuri karmani sotavyani vibhagasah atah sadhutrajat saram samudritya manishaya bruhi bhadraya bhutanam janatma suprasidati. So please tell us what is the essence. What is the essence in the Vedic literature? What you have ascertained? Okay, what is the essence of all scriptures? This is the question. Anyway, we will not see all these things because there is no time. Okay, so then the third question is asked in text number 12. Suta janasi bhadram te bhagavan satpatam patihi devakyam vasudevasya jata jasya chikirsaya. So the question asked by the rishis that for what purpose the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki, the son of Vasudeva. And this question is asked through 5 verses starting with text number 12. 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. In 13 they are saying Tanna Sushrusmananam Arhasyanganavarnitum Jasyavataro bhutanam kshemaya cha bhavaya cha. So what they are saying is, actually we need to hear about the pastime, the activities of the Supreme Lord. Why? It is said in Vishnu Puran that Sahani Tanmahachidram Samoho Sacha Vibhrama Jan Muhurtam Kshanam Vapi Vasudevam Na Chintayat. If even for a moment remembrance of Vasudev is lost, that is greatest anomaly, loss and illusion. So Hani, Mahachidram, Sacha Vibram. So therefore, the sages in Naimisharanya, they are thinking that we don't want to waste our time in performing this sacrifice. Just imagine, in future you will see they're going to talk about it in the end of this first canto. They say that our, just by performing this sacrifice, the result we have got is our body has become black with the smoke. We have been blackened eh, with the smoke. That's all. There is not much to gain. But they are saying that kathayam sakshana hare, asina dirgha satrena kathayam sakshana hare. We have been initiated to perform such a prolonged 1,000-year sacrifice to eradicate the ill effect of Kali, but we have got all time reserved to hear about the Supreme Lord, kathayam sakshana hare. So that is the point, that they are asking the question, they want to hear about the Supreme Lord. Apanna samsitim ghoram jannama vivasaganan tato satya vimachyate jad vivheti swayam bhayam. Here also very nicely commented by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in this, about this verse, he is saying that okay, let me read the translation. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. So here, the pastime of the Supreme Lord, the whole chanting of the holy name of the Lord have been stressed by the sages. They are saying that samsitim apanna prapta vivaso api grunan. Even if somebody who is afflicted with the miseries of this world and out of unconsciously, even if unconsciously one chants the holy name of the Lord, then what happens? Actually, uh, is saying that he is going to get delivered. Is there any reference? Ajamil is the reference. Ajamila was actually facing a lot of trouble, and at the end of his life, when he faced with the Jamadutas, at that time he was very much afraid of their fearful appearance, and unconsciously he just chanted the name of Narayana. And at that time, Sadhya, immediately Vishnu Dutas came on the spot and they rescued him. And therefore, Jata Namna Ekasmad api Swayam Bhayam Swayam Bhagavan iti but Mula Bhutam Bhayam Mahakala Eva Vidheti. So, upon hearing this holy name, even Mahakal is afraid. So then saying kim punah mrityur jamascha kim uta jamaduta bhuvi bhava. So iti bhava. If the Mahakal is afraid of the holy name, then what to speak of Jamaraj or even the Dutas, the servants of the Jamaraj? So that means that by chanting the holy name of the Lord, everybody can transcend the ill effect of this age of Kali. We know about this, so we are not going to expand on this. Then the next verse, they are speaking a very wonderful point. Jatpada Sangsaya Suta Munaya Prasamayana Sadhya Punanti Prasista Suddhanyapanusevaya. So here, the glory of the pure devotee of the Lord who have taken exclusive shelter of the Supreme Lord, lotus feet of the Lord, have been stressed. And while commenting on this verse, Srila Jiva Goswami, he has very beautifully explained the importance of taking shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What is the difference between somebody who has taking shelter of a person who has taken exclusive shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna and taking shelter of Ganga? People in this age of Kali are very sinful. Their life is full of sin. So then people, they sometimes desire to go to take bath in Ganga to become freed from the sinful reactions, to become cleansed of their sinful reactions. And some other people, they go and take shelter of a pure devotee of the Lord. So what is the difference? Here you can see very nicely it is explained by Srila Jiva Goswami in Krama Sandarbha. I want to read it out to you so that you get a very, very clear picture. Yasya Sri Krishnasya Pado Saubhagya Sayo Jesam. There are devotees who has attained the good fortune by taking shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Atayeva prasamayana sama bhagavan nishtha buddhita sama manishtata buddhe. Having taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, they have attained a very tranquil state of consciousness. Their mind has attained the position of equilibrium. So eva prakrishta prasama sakshat purna bhagavad Sri Krishna sambandhitva prasama eva ayanam vartma asya jesam te Sri Krishna Lila Sri Krishna Lila Rasakrishta Chitta Munaya Sri Shuka Devadaya Sadhya Punanti Sabasana Papebhyo Shodhayanti. See, when we take shelter of a devotee of the Lord who is immersed in Krishna Katha, who has taken shelter of the pastime of the Supreme Lord, he says, Sri Krishna Lila Rasa Krishna Chitta Munaya. Munaya means Mananasila. Those whose mind is completely engrossed in the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. They are always releasing the pastimes in their mind. For example, who are they? Sukadevadaya. If we take shelter of such devotees, then what happens? Sadhya Punanti. They immediately purify us. They immediately purify us. Why? Because They have taken shelter of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet exclusively. Therefore, they have become the storehouse of peace and tranquility. We have experienced that actually. When you go to a devotee who is really, he does not have any uh, hankering in this material world. I mean to say, if such a devotee is 100% satisfied with his devotional service, what he is doing, you see, he is not disturbed at all, such a person. In the midst of so many calamities of this material world, he is very peaceful and happy, satisfied. When you go to such a person, actually you become tranquil. You become very satisfied and happy, peaceful. Because he's saying, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is speaking about this, he's saying, गंगार परस हईले पश्चाते पावन दर्शने पवित्र करो এই তোমার গুণ. This is the beauty of a pure sadhu, that by just having a glance by a pure devotee, automatically you become purified. Automatically you become purified. But Suddhanya Punukchabaya, if you go take bath in Ganga, it will take long time to get purified. It is what I've been saying, Swadhanyatva Anuseva. Anuseva means again and again. And that too you have to take constant, I mean to say again and again you have to take bath in Ganga, then only after a long time you may become purified. But by coming in contact with a sadhu, you become immediately purified. Oh, the question can be asked. Ganga is coming from the lotus feet of the Lord. He is also taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord. So what is the kind of, speciality in a sadhu that he has the power to purify us immediately, whereas Ganga does not have so much purification, so much potency to purify us? You can ask this question, right? You see, Ganga, she has, come out from the lotus feet of the Lord, and she is going away from the Lord, right? She started in, Gangotri, Vishnupadi. First of all, she came, from the spiritual world. When Baman Dev, he, pierced the covering of the universe with his feet, then the water from the causal ocean started flowing through his foot, and that came to the world as Ganga. So it is flowing, going away from the Lord's lotus feet. Even though it is going away, still it has the purifying potency, right? Like, let me tell you, Ganga here is in Mayapur. Let us talk a very practical, give a practical example. Ganga Devi is flowing in Mayapur here, and one devotee came from USA, and he will carry a bottle of Ganges water. And when he goes to USA, do you think the purifying potency of Ganges water is lost? No, it is still there. The purifying potency still remains. So this is the beauty, that even though it is taken to another place far away from even its source, still it is pure because of its connection with the Supreme Lord. Therefore, a sadhu who is 24 hours engaged in the thought of the Supreme Lord, he is having the better potency, better power. That have been explained in the 10th canto of Srimad. Tirtham chakre niponam jadajani jadusu swasarit pada saucham with beat. Anyway, this much is enough. Tirtham chakre nipunam jadajani jadusu swasarit pada saucham. When Lord Krishna, he appeared in the Yadu dynasty and performed these beautiful pastimes, and it eclipsed the glories of Mother Ganga. Why? Those who took shelter, I mean, those who took a dip in the ocean of Krishna's pastime. That's why it is a Krishna Lila Rasa Krishna Chitta. One whose heart is attracted to release the rasa of Krishna Lila. Ah, he is always in constant touch with the Supreme Lord. Now, Ganga, who is taking birth from the lotus feet and going away, just by having one connection, if he and when she is going away, still she has so much purifying potency, then what to speak of a sadhu who is constantly keeping in connection with the Supreme Lord by taking a dip in the mellow of the pastime of the Supreme Lord. This is where sadhus are so powerful. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, Darsane Pavitra Kara. Therefore, when we go to a holy place of pilgrimage, what happens? Man, a materialistic person, he goes to Vrindavan or he comes to maybe Mayapur. Okay. Then evening time, sadhus are sitting there, talking about Krishna. Then this gentleman is thinking, oh, what is going on there? Let me go. He also, sit there. And then at the end, this sadhu Baba, he is giving prasadam. And this person comes, he takes prasadam from him. He is, getting in touch from the sadhu. And sometimes sadhu is walking in the, ashram. He's asking me, where have you come from? How are you? Having an audience, and this kind of interactions actually helps the sinful people to become purified. Therefore, this tradition of visiting to the holy places is still prominent in India. Even till today, people keep visiting to the holy places. Why? Because they can get benefit from the sadhus who live there. So on the other hand, we can say those who go to the holy places, but don't associate with these saintly personalities, they are actually mudhas. Don't go to a holy place, find a beautiful spot to take a snap, take a photograph, and then, or, nice place, right, what do you say? River is there, just take a dip. No, go and take association of the sadhus. Hear from the sadhu. That is how your life is successful. So that is what has been said by the rishis. And see, they are saying, Sadhya Punanti Prasishta Sradhanyapa Ansevaya. So after a prolonged use, taking bath, again and again, one will become purified. But by getting the association of a sadhu, hearing from the sadhu, you become immediately purified. Ko va bhagavatastasya punyaslokedya karmanah suddhi kama na sumyat kali malapaham jasa kali malapaham. So this is the kind of beauty. Who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of pearl, who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord? That means they are saying everybody. So then they continue. Tasya karma nidarani parigitani suridhi bruhina saddhananam lilaya dhatakava. So then the next question is being asked by the sages that tell us of the act the Lord performs in relationship to creating the material world. So now, tasya karmani udarani. Udarani karmani. What are those magnanimous qualities, the pastimes Krishna has performed? Just like we can say, udara karma is one of his magnanimous pastime is when he killed Putana, right? Putana came to Krishna in the guise of a mother, nurse, you can say. Actually, you know this pastime, and the Putana is marrying the Kalakuta poison, very deadly poison on her breast. She approached Krishna and she breastfed baby Krishna. She was thinking that when baby Krishna will suck my breast, she will also suck the poison, that's how she will die. He will die. But it so happened, while sucking the breast, Krishna sucked the life air. And then you can say, oh, Krishna is so cruel. Huh? How come? Somebody who is coming in like a mother, she is giving motherly love, and Krishna is so cruel. He's sucking his life, her life here. Why did he do this? This is not good. No, Krishna not only sucked her life here, Dhatri Gati Uchitam Tatanyo Kanda Dayalu. Who can be more kind than Krishna? Who even gives Dhatri Gati, the position of a nurse. Nurse is also a mother. When the baby is born in the hospital, mother is unconscious. Who is taking care of the baby? Dhaima, nurse, is taking. She is also a mother. So, even though Putana came with a desire to kill Krishna, but still Krishna, after killing Putana, he awarded her Dhatri Gati, in the position of Dhaima, nurse. You can imagine. These are the magnanimous qualities. So they are saying, we want to hear about this. So many more going to come about his Srushti Tattva, Srushti Lila, and which have been sung by the big devotees like Narada, Vyasa, Valmiki, Devala, Ashita, Madhavacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramanujacharya, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka Swami, Sridhar Swami. These are all great, Suribhi, all these great personalities. And they also want to hear about the Kala, means Brahma, Rudradi, Murta, Lila avatars, Rama, Nrsimha, Varaha, Vamana, etc. These incarnations. We want to know about their activities. Then in next question they are asking, describe the activities of the incarnations of the Lord. And then he says, Vayam tu na vitripyama uttama shloka vikrame jassunnatam rasagyanam sadhu sadhu pade pade. We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with him relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment. So the rishis are saying that we are not satisfied in hearing. So please give us the opportunity so that we can hear more and more. This is how you can understand the difference between people being satisfied in the material world in connection with the material topics, and devotees are not being satisfied in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very nicely explained that, see, how somebody is satisfied in this world. For example, somebody who is hungry, when you give him food, when his belly is full, he is satisfied, right? He does not need to eat anymore. Okay. Then another person who does not know the rasa. For example, rasa agyan. If you do not know the rasa, for example, let us take this example. If you go to a concert, there is music going on. If you do not have the kind of, concept about different raga and all, you'll say, like, what this man is doing. Because you are rasa agya. You do not know the rasa of music. So you cannot enjoy the music, right? And if you love it, let's go back. Then there are other people. If you give some food to someone, if there is no taste in it, then what he will do? Okay, I don't want it. There is no taste. What can he do? He doesn't want to eat it, right? But in Krishna consciousness, it is not like that. When you hear through your ear represents sky. Just like there is no limit to the sky, similarly, there is no limit to your ear when you hear Krishna Katha. Your belly is limited. You can pour food to your belly, after some time it will be full. But if you keep pouring Krishna Katha, it is through your ear reaching to the Hidaya Akash. Heart is also the sky. And you can keep on pouring and pouring. Your heart will always find there is space, there is still hunger. You want to drink more and more. Therefore, Krishna Katha is always delectable. And the devotees who hear Srimad Bhagavatam, they never get satisfied. Then another thing is, those who are having Pashu Pravritti, they cannot actually enjoy Krishna Katha. Those who are inclined to animalistic propensities, they cannot relish Srimad Bhagavatam. That means those who are like great souls who have been hearing it through the disciplic succession, they can relish it. Then the other example have been given, like if somebody is drinking nectar, he is not bothered about drinking any other liquid item, right? Because he is perfectly satisfied. Similarly, this Bhagavatam is such, the narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam can give you fullest satisfaction where you don't desire to find satisfaction in any other narration of this material world. Therefore, the rishis are saying, no vitripyama, we are not satisfied. We want to hear more and more. Please tell us more. That's what they are saying. What Krishna performed, what are the different activities and the past time Krishna and Balaram performed, please tell us about that. And then finally, anyway, time is kind of moving. So the last question they asked, Bruhi Yogeshwari Krishna Brahmanye Dharma Barmani Swang Kashta Madhuna Pete Dharma Kam Saranam Gata. Where a religious principle taken shelter after Krishna went back to his abode. So that is the sixth question. And the answer to all these questions are the entire Bhagavatam. That means when we are going to find answer for all these six questions, that is where we're going to read entire Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyway, in these six questions, one thing you should take a note on, that their sole interest is they want to hear about Krishna. They want to hear Krishna Katha. That is the question. You see, all the six questions, they are pointed to one point, that they are interested to hear about Krishna. That is what they are asking. So that is what is going to be narrated in form of Srimad Bhagavatam to the sages of Naimisharanya. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, हरे राम 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 हरे